Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so we're going to be doing a follow-up tonight from last night, obviously. So we had Tony and Sky's computer here that they got. Had issues with leaking coolant and stuff. However, I think we got to the root cause of the problem, and I don't think it's actually going to happen again. So I've had it running all day and it hasn't leaked at all, so good signs. I'm going to do some more strenuous testing on it tonight before I go to bed, but yeah, all in all, I think we resolved the problem. So we're going to watch a video a little bit later explaining a little bit what went on last night, what the problem was, what the solution was, how it all kind of works. So we'll cover that. But we're going to be adding some Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capability to it. So we'll do that before we fire it up. I'm just going to come around here to do it. It's just going to be easier. That'll just sit in there. I might even, yeah, because it's not actually gonna sit on this. So what do? The end provides a little bit of support. What if we just bend that plate back a bit? It will sit in there a bit neater. Yeah, that looks fine. And so now we'll just have to plug in our USB 2 cable for the Bluetooth. So I'm actually going to plug it in to the Bluetooth first, just because. Actually, I'm going to pull this card out for now. There we go. So I've got the cable plugged into the motherboard now, so now I'll just feed it through to myself. Pulling the riser cable out. It's alright. You can put that back. There we go. Now it's through, we can slot in our Wi-Fi Bluetooth module, and we can slot in this USB 2 cable here. Just like that. And we'll tuck that cable away. And there we go, and we've got a little USB port there that we can use as well. So obviously you just gotta, because because of the case here, we don't have the horizontal bracket for it. So it is just kind of sitting in that slot. It's not locked in. That can just come out if you wiggle it. But if you just leave it, just leave it there, it's going to be fine. And then we've got an aerial around here. Alright, so I can sit around the back there discreetly. We can plug in our antennas. Wondering if I have a solution to make that sit in there a bit better. Yeah, what's wrong? Hey Nick, how you going? Oh, Mick, how you going? Sorry about that. There we go. A little rubber sticky, and I've just sort of put that around the end there, and now that's nice and secure in there. Just don't take it out. Oh yeah, that's just the IO shield there that's on a little bit of an angle. I was like, is that on an angle? No, it's fine. All right. So we are going to be loading up onto the actual operating system that's installed on this computer, and we're just going to make sure everything's updated, and we're going to run some games. So we'll need some peripherals. Yeah. Hey Anna, how you going? Good to have you with us. Here. Okay. So we'll turn on the power supply. That always helps. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we've got our XMP profile on there. I'm going to go to advanced mode here. So we're going to set our where are we? Where's our CPU settings? Here we are. Where are we? I am looking for fan control. We've got resized bar support here, even though we can't use it on 9th gen Intel chips. And we won't be using it on this graphics card anyway. But I can't find what I'm looking for. I hate this. I hate it when I can't find what I'm looking for. Enable that, so we turn off the lights when it's not running. here's our settings here. Advanced CPU configuration. Got it in a totally different area. Okay. Sweet. I still can't find the fan alarm. Where's our fan alarm? I might have to look this up. I think I'm definitely going to have to look this up. Yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time, but we turned on the ERP. And it's not even letting me delete. This is pissing me off. What's that fan? That fan down there. I'm gonna have to look this up later and find out where exactly in the BIOS it is, because I'm not gonna look around for any longer than what I did just then. You just want to hit the power button. And again. That's just a check that you can turn off on the motherboard somewhere. It's just not where I'm expecting to find it, so I'll have to look that up later, but it's not really a big deal or anything. It's just because we don't have anything plugged into any of the fan headers on the motherboard. These guys did send me Alright, so we should now have, yep, we're getting Wi-Fi. Let's connect to the Wi-Fi on our new Wi-Fi adapter. We should get some good speeds off this. Oh, we have a critical restart apparently. So a critical restart is where Windows Update won't let you do anything more other than restart. It just won't give you the option. And it'll also show up as a red little icon on the update thing instead of a yellow icon. And so that means there's a serious security update, which is exactly what we would expect because this PC hasn't been used for a while. Okay, so we got some stuff downloading there. Oh, I haven't even plugged in my SSD. Plug that into USB-C 10 gigabit, and then we've got some stuff. So I'll just do what I normally do, I guess. Okay, so what did we have installed here? We had hardware monitor. We have CPU-Z? No. Okay, I've got GeForce Experience on there, got hardware monitor on there. MSI Afterburner was on there, I saw. At Heaven Benchmark. XTU. Dare say there'll be a heap of updates. These don't have Office 365. Alright. So while that's going on, Get this tuned. What's up?
Oh, there's some sort of weird high-pitched sound. Something.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fan. Oh geez, we don't even have 20H2 on here. It almost would have been quicker to reinstall Windows. That's alright. Yeah, so what we're gonna do here tonight is we're gonna tune our CPU and we're gonna tune our graphics card, and we're gonna go into a game and we're just gonna leave it there. Just doing a gaming benchmark long term, not the usual high intensity stress test that I do, because I know that this system's gonna smash that. What I'm more concerned about is what it's like actually gaming on this, because this is what it's going to be used for. It's mainly going to be used as a gaming PC, not an editing workstation or anything like that. So I'm going to focus mainly on the gaming side of things, and I really want to see system stability and no leaks in the system. That is the goal here tonight. So we're letting MSI Afterburner do the OC scanner here, so it's going to test the graphics card and see what sort of a curve it thinks is workable. And so far you can see there on MSI Afterburner the temps so far during the test has only gotten up to 63 degrees, so well within our limit. Office downloaded. And that looks like an i9. Better than when we first ran this the other night. With the original BIOS on our Z370 here. Oh. I don't think there was anything else on here that we needed to set up. Nope. Oh, hang on. We've got a WD hard drive in here. I'm pretty sure. Let's get a Cronus WD. That's a very handy tool to have. I'd been meaning to add this to the list of things to install on people's computers for ages. Alright, this should nearly be done. Come on. Let's get rid of that installer. That's obviously conflicting. Got some really bad system instability here, so we might just force that restart. I'm gonna hard reset. Is there a reset button on this case? Alrighty, so I think Windows Update screwed us a couple of times there. Let's run Valley before we tune our graphics card here. Oh. No one watching.
Yeah, there's people on YouTube and Twitch.
Oh, are there? Oh, okay. There's just no one on Facebook. That's weird because we usually get most viewers on Facebook. So, what's the go? Am I too early tonight? Missed everyone. Nah, it's all good. The best is yet to come anyway. Okay. So now it's going to want to do a shitload more. Yeah. Hey Mick, how you going? Alright. Up to date? I don't think I am. We should have 21H1. Why is that not coming up?
The RGB on the motherboard's not working.
Babe?
Yeah, it's working now. So,
Yeah.
since I flipped between Facebook images on the big screen and a message on the phone with Facebook. That's YouTube on the telephone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fucking Bing. Can't even direct me to like the Microsoft page that I want. Oh my god. What am I like losing my mind?
Tim.
Yeah.
Nick wants to know no leaks or anything.
No, nothing. There was no leaks or anything. So I have a feeling there just wasn't enough fluid in the system, and there was airlocks all the way through it. Speaking of airlocks, we're gonna watch a video. Alright,
Good
so this
grammar
is an
and spelling
awesome-
are
this is
important,
an awesome
but if you
channel
want to write
on YouTube.
essays
You should
that
check them
inspire-
out. It's called Practical Engineering.
Engineering nearly always involves
We're going to watch this
assumptions
quick
and
video about
simplifications.
pipes.
There are just too many variables in the real world
Because
to keep track of
what's
them all. So we
explained in this
simplify.
video
We
is,
neglect the variables that don't
well,
matter, and we
you'll
make
see.
assumptions about the
It's exactly
variables we
what we're
can't
working
measure or
with.
predict. But what happens when one of those assumptions is wrong? One of the most basic assumptions made by engineers who design pipelines is that those pipelines only carry the fluid that's intended. But that's not always the case. Hey, I'm Grady, and this is Practical Engineering. On today's episode, we're talking about airlock in pipe systems. This video is sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Visit HelloFresh.com and use code PRACTICAL10 for 10 free meals. More on that later. Put simply, airlock is a constriction in flow that happens when gas gets trapped inside a pipe. That's the answer to the title of this video, but it's not very satisfying on its own. In fact, if you're as curious as I am, it just leads to more questions. The first three that come to mind are, where does the gas come from, how does it get trapped, and why should I care? We don't normally get to see inside pipelines and observe how they work, so I built a little model here in my garage we can use to talk about airlock, how it happens, and why it matters. The first question is, where does the gas come from? It might surprise you to learn that getting gases like air in liquid pipelines is somewhat inevitable. Sometimes they sneak in by being dissolved into the liquid, like carbon dioxide is dissolved in a Coke. Most liquids have at least some dissolved gases. Even the water coming out of the tap often has a certain amount of dissolved air. This gas can come out of solution when the fluid is warmed or agitated, or if it goes through a chemical reaction. Another potential source of gases in liquid is leaks through damaged areas or loose-fitting joints. If these occur in an area of the pipe with a pressure below the ambient air pressure, air can leak from outside the pipe into the line. But I haven't mentioned the most obvious source of air. After all, when you buy a pipe from a manufacturer, it doesn't come pre-filled with liquid. It starts out empty, or more accurately, it starts out full of air. When you add liquid to a pipe that's full of air, whether it's for the first time or after the pipe was drained for maintenance, that's a perfect opportunity for it to be trapped, which leads me to the second question, how does gas get trapped? This one's a little easier to answer. Because gases are so much less dense than liquids, they almost always float. That means any high spot in a pipe is susceptible to trapping bubbles. And unfortunately, avoiding these high spots is often easier said than done. Take the example of an irrigation line on a farm. These lines can't be buried because they need to be moved from time to time. So they sit on the surface of the ground, and as such, follow the natural contours with low spots in valleys and high spots over hills and embankments. These high spots are perfect traps for air. Even if the pipes can be buried, like water or petroleum pipelines, it's not always feasible to avoid undulations. After all, the deeper you dig, the higher the cost. Often it just makes sense to follow a ridge or hill up and back down rather than going straight through. In buildings and houses, fresh water and heating lines have to avoid all sorts of obstacles, which often means routing them in ways that create high spots which can trap air bubbles. The same is true in industrial settings for a wide variety of types of pipelines. You might be thinking, big deal, air gets trapped where it's not supposed to all the time. That's why we have burps and farts and bleed valves on brake lines. But the thing you have to remember is that air takes up space. It doesn't necessarily seem like it out in the open, but when it's trapped in a pipe, It's taking up cross-sectional area that could otherwise be used by flow. It's a constriction just like a kink in a rubber hose, which means it can cause a serious reduction in flow rate. Pipes can be expensive, and the bigger they are, the more they cost. So engineers try to use the smallest pipe possible to meet the specific need. If you've got a bunch of air trapped in your pipe, that's taking up valuable space without any contribution to the flow rate.
Queensland homeowners can now join the no-cost solar program. The government is handing over.
Designing pipes is an exercise in managing energy. The fluid starts at one end with a certain amount of it, and the flow rate depends on how much energy gets lost as it makes its way to the other end. Engineers use a graphical tool called the hydraulic grade line to show this visually.
On YouTube.
The line represents the potential energy available in the fluid at any point along the pipe. It's also the level the liquid would reach if you were to tap in a vertical standpipe at any location along the pipe. The hydraulic grade line slopes downward along pipes as the fluid loses energy to friction. It also drops steeply at sharp bends and valves, which can cause turbulence in the flow. And you know what also causes a loss of energy? Airlock. In fact, as the bubble grows and grows in the pipe, you end up with a condition called waterfall flow. You can see why it's called that in the demonstration. In this case, you lose the energy equivalent to the height of the waterfall, which is easy to see on the hydraulic grade line. Unlike friction or turbulence in the pipe, this doesn't depend on flow, and it adds up.
What was happening
Every
right
undulation
here,
in
this
a
is
pipe
exactly
with a
what was
trapped bubble of
happening
air
last
is
night.
going to rob the fluid of this energy.
This is the root
And
of
if the hydraulic
the
grade line
leaking
drops
problem.
below the outlet of the pipe, you won't get any flow at all.
This was
That's
all
the
happening
definition
all
of
through our
airlock,
system.
also called vapor lock. A pipe that doesn't flow is not very useful, so we've come up with a bunch of ways to deal with this problem. The simplest, but not necessarily the cheapest, is to deal with the airlock with a bigger pump. You can be okay knowing you'll always have trapped gas in your pipe if you can use more pressure to overcome the energy losses associated with airlock. That's not always feasible though. Consider a long pipeline with lots of undulations. If you use a single pump to overcome all that airlock, the pressure rating of the pipe near the pump will have to be enormous. The second option is just to design pipelines that don't trap air. If the flow of the fluid in your pipeline is fast enough, trapped air will just be blown out. And if there aren't any high spots in your pipes, there won't be anywhere for it to be trapped in the first place. Again, that's not always feasible. Consider a pipeline moving water from one end of a hill to another. Drawing a straight line between points A and B is easy, but digging a trench this deep to install the pipe, or worse, tunneling it, is not an inexpensive endeavor. The other option is to bleed the gas through a valve. Pretty simple in some cases, but not necessarily in all cases. Cities don't want to send out technicians to bleed the air out of pipelines every day, so many pipelines are equipped with automatic air release valves. These are a simple but clever solution for releasing air from the high points without any human intervention. I built an example of this by gluing a float to a check valve. When there's no air in the pipe, the float holds the valve
These
closed.
pressure release
But when a
valves
big enough
are
air
usually
bubble grows in the pipe, the float
cause
acts
of
like a weight and
random
pulls the valve open,
sewage
venting the
smell,
air from the pipe.
Like just
Keep an eye
around
out for
the
these type of
suburbs or
valves
something
when you're
like that,
perusing the constructed environment,
'cause
and
they
now
have
you'll
these
know how they work.
valves to,
The job of an engineer
to
is to
stop
take the
these
science
sort
and
of
knowledge
airlocks
we have and
occurring
apply that to
in,
design
like,
completely
municipal
new and
water
sometimes
sewage
untested
infrastructure.
systems. It almost always involves making assumptions, and if you make bad assumptions, you get bad answers and ultimately bad designs.
Pipe work here.
That's
this
certainly
water
true for
plant.
airlock, where if you assume that gases don't get into pipes or that they can't constrict the flow, you might design a pipeline that doesn't work. Luckily for engineers, this is a well-known phenomenon in pipe systems. It's just one of the many complexities that come with the job, and we've developed a lot of creative ways to overcome it. Thanks to HelloFresh for supporting practical engineering. This is not a cooking channel, and I'm an engineer, not a chef. But one of my wife's and my favorite thing to do is spend time together in the kitchen.
Oh my,
Oh
what
wow,
a
150 mil, hey?
HelloFresh delivers
Okay,
seasonal recipes
alright,
and pre-measured
so-
ingredients.
We won't watch anything more from that. Not sure why Windows isn't wanting to update yet.
says here drone footage. Tim,
Yeah.
drone footage.
Oh, sweet. I'll have to check that out. Oh, what am I doing? It's just a fucking. All right, we won't worry about it yet. Obviously, doesn't want to give it to us yet. Either that or it's already actually installed. It could actually be already installed. Let's check that out. It just didn't show me in the Windows Update tool. Yeah, that's still H2 2020. That's weird.
Maybe it needs a restart.
We can try that. Just do a quick reboot. Oh, sweet. Mick posted a link. Yeah, I'll check that out. Yep, babe, you got good instinct there, because if in doubt, restart. I don't know how many people, like, message me with random problems. I'm like, just restart the computer. And they're like, oh, I fixed it. I'm not going to waste any more time with it. What do we want? MSI Afterburner. Alright.
too.
Yeah.
Printers is in the house.
Hey Ben, how you going? Okay, let's run this again. And while that's happening, what can we do to keep everyone entertained? We can test the speed of our SSDs. Yes. Yeah, no one needs to see that. That's very boring. Yeah. So we've got Sky and Tony's PC, and basically they were sold this custom water cooling PC from someone, and they've sort of just done a runner, deleted their page, and they've had problems with the system leaking. But I'm pretty sure that we don't actually have a problem with leaking. What we had a problem with was a low amount of fluid in it, and there was a lot of airlocks in these pipes, which basically meant as the fluid started to expand and the air started to expand, there was like big airlocks created and the fluid would stop flowing through the system. And then that would make this graphics card overheat, because the graphics card we've got in there is the Aorus 2080 Super Water Force card. So this is a card that comes with a factory installed water block on it. So you can pretty much, if you buy something like that, the chance of it actually failing just from normal use, pretty much non-existent. What I think's happening, because I haven't been able to recreate the problem so far, what I'm thinking was happening was the card was overheating, and then the seals and stuff on the water block on the card were pushed beyond what they were engineered to withstand, and then that led to like trace amounts of water just to slowly leak out while the card's being used for gaming. So what we did was we basically added a fair bit more fluid into it and just got rid of those airlocks, and I've turned it on and off multiple times now, and we've got seems to be the perfect amount of fluid for this system and this pump to stop airlocks forming, and it consistently flows through the system pretty nicely now. So as a result, we're seeing nice temperatures here. So even while MSI Afterburner's trying to tune it, we're only up to 65 degrees here on the graphics card. So it'll run really, really cool because of all this custom water cooling that's in it. But yeah, the thing is, when you own a system like this, you need to understand all about how to take care of it, what the problems are. You need to understand like what an airlock is, how to remove an airlock from it by tilting the computer and stuff like that. You've got to be on top of fluid levels, and you've just got to maintain it over time and don't get complacent. You got to be looking for leaks and things like that. And every 6 months or so, you really need to drain the fluid and potentially change the pump out over time. Ben's like, nice, let's overclock her. Yeah, so we're running the OC scanner tool on the graphics card now. and see, we can... Oh. Yeah, we can apply higher power limit here to it.
And it says Intel. Tim?
What's that?
Intel.
Yeah, this is a i9 9900K, this one. So if we want to get maximum sort of performance out of it, we really need to turn off the hyper threading, and then we can get like, we could probably get might not get 5.4 on this motherboard. Might get 5.2, maybe 5.3. But I think 5.4 we'd probably be pushing it.
Tim, since I think you've just taught me how to
Yeah, it's a lot of effort for not really that much benefit. If you're planning on like extreme overclocking and stuff like that, yeah, okay. But you know, it's a computer that ideally it's for someone who wants to tinker with it. It's for that person who does like play around with it. It's not ideal for someone who wants just like a reliable computer that just works every day and requires very little maintenance and very little knowledge. This is a computer that requires not a huge amount of knowledge, but like it requires a little bit more knowledge, and it requires people to take care of it.
Tim, so since save myself a few bucks along the way.
Yeah, exactly right, Mick. Like, yeah, I don't offer these to ordinary customers. The right person comes along. I'll probably be building one for someone else, and they're gonna fill it up and take responsibility for their own system. So I'm happy to do that, but yeah, just don't take any. I just don't build them straight up for people. Just it's too big a risk long term. I don't want them coming back to me and being angry at me if something goes wrong a couple of years down the track. So I don't want to be stuck buying people new computers and stuff like that. So okay. So we've got got 5 gigahertz all cores, 8 cores, 16 threads on the CPU, and we've got the OC scanner curve exported to MSI Afterburner. So
Tim,
we ran this one before. Yeah.
how's those 3080 Ti's when you're getting one of 3?
Oh man, they're so expensive. I'm even sort of like, I'm a little bit skeptical on even buying one just to have for a system build. If someone wants one, I'll buy one if they want the system. But they're just so expensive, and they're not that much better than ordinary 3080. And the miners would answer that ordinary 3080 is better. How much are they going for? Oh, like 3,300. Hey Tony, how you going? We've just got your system tuned up, man, and we're I'm gonna see how she goes with an extended gaming run. But we've had no leaks or anything so far, so it's all good. So I'll recommend to you guys, you know, definitely keep a little bit of tissue around the joints, just while you're using it for a couple of months or so, maybe even all the time if you want to be extra vigilant. And then you can just check that, and that's going to be the best indicator that anything's leaking. A bit of white tissue will absorb that blue fluid, and you can see it very, very clearly. And so hopefully you're actually going to get some use out of it. I can see that already. It's just a shame. About, like, you know, I don't know, like all the parts that are in here, I've got no idea, like in terms of warranties and stuff, because they won't just like warranty whatever random parts. Everything's got like serial numbers and stuff, so everyone knows what stock they bought, what CPUs and graphics cards and theirs. So considering like the dude's like postage, it's essentially like your PC's out of warranty. So that kind of sucks, but yeah, whatever. We'll get a tune for you. So do you do any like video editing? Do you do any streaming? Do you do any like big multi-core workloads? Oh shit, I didn't do the benchmark. We'll do the benchmark because we got 206 in this. Oh, is it? Let's just turn that. There we go. That'll be better. But yeah, I was just saying that, you know, it kind of, yeah, it just sucks that old mate's gone AWOL and stuff like that. Yeah, sweet. So, yeah, well, how I've got it tuned is ideal. It's the ideal mix for video editing and gaming. Yeah, so we'll load up. I'll go into some graphically intensive games, and we'll run that, and we'll just leave it. I'll just leave it running like for the rest of the night. Like I'll get off the stream, but I'll leave it running and until I go to bed, and then I might even fire it up again tomorrow morning and leave it running just for a really extended run on it, just to make sure that there's definitely no more fluid leaking from the graphics card, even when the fluid heats up a bit. And just make sure that fluid level stays good. What settings? What on? No leaks. No leaks. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure whether the dude knew enough about these systems to really, yeah, be advising you. Like, I mean, it was really empty. Like, it needed significantly more fluid added to it. Like more than what there's evidence that's leaked out. So it's like he didn't even put enough fluid in it. It's like he didn't realize that he needed to.
And there's like a line up here.
Yeah, it's like he didn't realize he has to fill the tubes, and inside that big radiator there's also more tubes. So there's actually, the volume in the line is bigger than what you'll ever see in the reservoir. So,
Nick says the bench you're running.
no, we got the same score there.
Tim,
Yeah.
the bench that you were running. Settings.
There, it's on the screen there now. We got the same benchmark as before, but the graphics card wasn't even really trying in this one. So let's give it a more strenuous test.
Tim.
Yeah.
Tony says when I come to PC well because my own doing because I think my system is custom open.
Yep. Well, I mean, you've got it now, so yeah. I mean, enjoy the benefits of it, I guess. The benefits means that, you know, it's gonna be tuned at a higher rate for you. So it'll stay nice. It'll stay nice and cool for you. You just learn a little bit of stuff about pipes and pumps and freaking physics and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, but this should have all been explained to you, like when you bought it. Like, no business selling custom water cooling if you can't explain the problems that can happen with it. Yeah. Yeah, so Mick, you see me every time I set up, I go into MSI Afterburner. That's all that, I mean, you see me going through that list and I keep clicking show in OCD or OSD. What that is show in on-screen display, so I'm actually selecting all of these metrics that are showing on the screen there. OSD, on-screen display. So if you download MSI Afterburner and go into settings, set up your on-screen display, then you need to go to the next menu and set the buttons to toggle for it. So you need to set some keys to function as that. I usually use Control and some F keys. Yeah. Oh, no. MSI Afterburner works with all graphics cards, works on all PCs. You don't need an MSI product to use MSI Afterburner. We've got an Asus ROG Strix board and an Aorus graphics card here, and we don't have any MSI products attached to this PC. Yep, nothing. There's nothing MSI on here, but we're using MSI's Afterburner because it's great. It's generally, there are a lot of graphics card tuning applications, but if you ask around, the majority of people use MSI Afterburner. So if I open it up now, the interface might look different. There are different skins for this. you'd go into your settings, your general. You can tell it to start with Windows, start minimize. That's usually what I do. Well, before I do anything else, I want to save this current profile. So I'm going to save this to profile 1. We can even lock profile 1. And where are we? Does it not have the apply with Windows? Okay. No, that's alright. At least we've got it saved there. Anyway, we're going to go into here. Then you want, you can enable this. If you've got fans, you'd enable this fan control and you can change the fan curve. Doesn't really apply. So over here, monitoring. This is where you set the things you want to see on the screen. So there, and you just click on what you want and click on show an on-screen display. Do that for all the statistics that you want. Then on-screen display, set your toggle and show and hide buttons. And then over here, Reaver Tuner, you can adjust the size, the color, all those sort of settings. Application detection level. So if it's not showing up on a certain game or something like that, you can turn it up. But if you turn it up, it might show up on things you don't want it to show up on. So yeah. So yeah, completely free. Don't need an MSI product to use it. It has this really cool OC scanner, which will scan for what it thinks is a stable overclock frequency for your card, given the cooling and everything that you've got hooked up to it. And so yeah, let's. Oh, we don't have Steam installed. I will install.
Origin or stuff?
No, but it's not my computer, and if this is all that he plays, then I'm not going to install the other clients. I just install the other clients because, I don't know what people play, so just install the top 4 things that people use, and that's generally a pretty good. That pretty much they'll cover most people. And if not, they'll be like, oh, at least he installed some gaming apps for people. But we'll do that. I think we might run like.
Tim, he has Steam.
Oh, you have Steam. Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. It's come up. Just wasn't updated. Oh, what's my Steam name?
I don't know.
Yep, I got it. It's confusing because I used like my personal email address, and then I had to use my Gmail email address because it didn't like send the messages to my other email address. Really weird. So now I've got one email address as the username, and then I've got it goes to a totally different email address. So it's fucking very confusing.
You need something like dash line or something passwords
Yeah, I
for
know.
different sites.
I know. Okay. Okay, we're going to add a library folder here. It's on our E drive. And we want to go to Steam Library and select Close. And now we can go to our library.
Loads.
Yeah, once it loads. No. I got mine. I got a heap of games installed on this SSD. Usually doesn't take this long to read your library.
Install.
No.
Yeah.
It's not even reading off my SSD. Let's go back into Steam. Why is that not working? What did I not do? Okay,
Stop.
but it's not all my stuff. Yeah, and now it's definitely downloading and updating to my SSD. We could do some 3D, Mark. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Camel strike.
What's that?
There's some camel strike.
Counter-Strike. Yeah, but that'll pretty much run on a potato these days. Fall Guys. Wonder if it loads faster yet, because that's what pisses me off. It's fun, but I don't get enough opportunities to play it per hour. If I sit down and play an hour's worth of it, I spend a lot of time just sitting there staring at a blank screen. Geez, 1.3 gigabytes of updates for Counter-Strike. So there's our Samsung SSD speeds, nothing that great, but it's all you need for an SSD, for an NVMe SSD. You don't need 3,000, you don't need 5,000, you're not going to notice any difference. This is our WD Black hard drive here. 195 megabytes a second, that's pretty good. Not like the SSD, but okay, so we've got those. It's only a small fraction of the games that I've got installed on this drive.
Why isn't it reading the other ones?
I don't know. Yeah, see now it's showing up. Yeah, here we go. So now I've got in full screen mode showing up all my games. There's some other games here installed on this PC and it's showing them as well from...
I was like, huh?
What's this game?
I've never seen that before. That looks cool.
Yeah, so Red Dead Redemption 2, this is one of my favourite role-player games, modern role-playing games. It's essentially like Grand Theft Auto in the Old West at a time when the Old West was kind of like declining, and there was like a change, big cultural change occurring in the United States. There was a time when, like, you know, outlaw gangs you used to just make a living out in the West. They couldn't really get away with that anymore. They had to move and sort of move away from those sort of lifestyles and move into other things. And so you're part of a gang that's kind of trying to transition away from the old ways and trying to fit into the new world, but not doing a really good job of it. And you can play the game as like a cold-blooded killer, or you can play the game as a good guy, and it's completely up to you how you play through the game. But different things will happen to you depending on how you treat different people that you come into contact with. There'll be opportunities to kill people, there'll be opportunities to save people's lives, there'll be opportunities to help people, and there'll be opportunities to let people suffer. These are the dynamics that you'll see here. Why is this not launching? There we go. Just a couple of combinations of clicks to get that going. Don't click the box that comes up, do the other thing behind it, then click the box that came up over the top of it. See, this is why computers give people problems, right? Alrighty. All right. Looks like we got VSync on or something. Okay. So first we'll go in and we'll run a benchmark on like maximum settings. Oh, refresh rate. VSync off. All right. Moose. Smashing Red Dead. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. What's up? No, we're not. We've got no problems here, Tony. All we're doing is we just want to. I just want to make sure the system is getting a good workout, so that we get everything heated up, so that you're not gaming and have it leak again. So I'm just being really thorough with it. So yeah, nothing's overheating or anything like that. Oh, we got a little bit of overheating here on the CPU, but that's with pretty limited tuning. Strangely getting and now it's back down to like reasonable levels, but it got up to 100 there. Why is it spiking? It shouldn't be spiking like that. Oh, that's so toasty. That is so toasty. Temps am I actually recording? 60. Very hot on our MOSFET VRM. But what effect does putting a fan over it do?
So, 81. Three.
Yeah, so we've got thermal throttling on the CPU and on the VRM. We use a AVX offset of 3.0. not be able to apply it to 5.1 with no undervolt. Take the fan away. Back.
89.9.1.
And we'll put the fan back now. I think we have to install a very high flow fan at the back of this. Because we can't have our VRM overheating. Yeah. No, nothing like that. Oh, we've got a crash. What was the temperature? Hot.
Yeah. Fucking hot.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Well, we can't give it back to the customers like that.
It's not curry powder.
I did put a little fan back here, but it's not going to do. You can pull that out of the way now.
Tim.
Yeah.
Tony says, is it easier to get rid of all the water looping and just change to new?
No. There's no real problem here, man. I'm just tuning your PC for you because you've got. We could run it all at stock, but then it kind of defeats the point of having the custom water looping. Yeah. Hey man, how you going? Yeah, see what we're looking at, what we're doing now, Tony. What's overheating is, see these heat sinks here around the CPU. This is the thing that's really overheating right now. So I'm going to try to overcome a shortfall in the case design here. It's not letting me change any of this stuff. Oh, what did I do? Hey, can you help?
Right.
Can you hold it at the top? Down, take it off. What is sticking out? Yeah, that was it. Oh.
This end just. doing anything?
It'll do something.
Cat. Let's see.
Alright. Okay, sweet as. So 5 gigahertz all cores, 0.04 volt undervolt.
Is it still spiking?
No, I don't think so. I think we'll see. Do you want to do it again because you're on the right position? Are we seeing significantly lower temperatures now?
Yeah.
Big time?
It's like half as much as what it was before. So
Yeah. Sweet as. So there you go, Tony. I've just installed a 140mm fan on the back of the motherboard there. That makes up for not having the regular fan here. We get a bit of better airflow because these components around the CPU, they're designed to be air cooled. So if you don't have any fans,
49, but
yeah,
that's
that's okay.
52.
That's
53,
okay.
54. Nothing ridiculously hot like it was before.
Yeah, sweet. Alright. So I think we might save this profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that profile name totally makes sense to everyone. Oh shit, is that just spam?
Yeah, that's just spam.
Okay. So yeah, this is where the boring part begins, because what we're going to do here is I'm gonna run it like this for a while. I just want to get the fluid inside it heated up so I can see that it's definitely not leaking after you've been gaming for a heap of hours.
Where did you say it anyway?
But just something to watch out for. There seems to be a little bubble of air on the CPU block there. It's not causing any major problems with temperatures and stuff, but it is building up. So if you notice that there's this pocket of air up here, you just need to tilt the computer with the pump and the computer on and running, and it will just suck the air up through it and get rid of that. But that'll just keep building up. That just seems to be an inherent problem with this arrangement of pipes. It's just going to continually lead to that little pocket there. Not a big deal, but yeah, just something to watch out for. And I mean, this is all staying nice and dry. I can hear that it's nice and dry. And so ideally now we should be able to run this for hours and not see too much of an adjustment in these temperatures. Oh, where's our... Yeah, because it didn't apply it with Windows. Yeah.
What's a good number around temperatures for the CPU and GPU?
Oh, mate. Your i9's running as expected. Graphics card, obviously, with the liquid cooling on, it's running well below the average while it's doing this. So why? Let me. I'm sorry if you chose this interface, but I'm going to change it to... Where is it? Yes. Okay, so motherboard's back to VRM throttling, babe. Very hot. Mm-hmm.
Even the radio was hot. It was like 43 degrees.
Yeah, but we are running a game. It's the graphics card's at 49 degrees, 48, 49. But we are seeing some really, really hot temperatures there. Could be a limitation of this particular motherboard as well. Alright, let's start that up again. No, I don't think you have to, man. I'll just get this tuned right for you, and then you'll be good to go. I wouldn't consider a motherboard CPU upgrade to be a worthwhile investment for you right now. I would finally like to try to, if I was you, I'd just be happy to start getting a bit of use out of this. And I'll just make sure that this is all tuned right. So I don't mind that current EDP limit throttling. That's okay. That means we've come up to a power limit. We can probably just turn that back up to unlimited, considering I turned a short power off. Hopefully, that is still fucking toasty, eh?
Ow!
think realistically we need to attach a fan like this.
Do you have an RGB one?
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to attach a fan like this.
Some thermal pad and a couple of zip ties. I don't know. Do you have clear zip ties?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be something like that, and I believe this will fix our problem. Still, these heat sinks are still very, very hot, but I can feel this stream of warm air now, which tells me that it will be cooling down. Yeah, we'll put a fan.
Yeah. Feel all that heat being like.
Yeah, that's what it needs, because it needs
Oh,
it
there's
needs
I can feel this hot air coming up out of the hot hole
Yeah,
where the CPU connection
because
goes.
there's another fan back there as well now. So
it's
now
sucking
it's
out this like stream of hot air.
yeah. This'll be it. Yeah, so we'll put a 140 on the back there as well, and that'll stop our MOSFET and VRM from overheating. See, like the PCs I build, we never have this problem because I never build in a case like this.
If you're having cold, just put your arm in it.
Alright, I'm gonna stop Cinebench. Just hold it there, because I wanna let it like cool down, and then I wanna see once I start it up again how hot it gets with proper airflow there the whole time. Yeah, so we've moved well beyond the leaking problem. Now we're now sort of getting the thermals right on it and just getting the tune right, so we're getting maximum performance out of this rig. Because this is a great rig. There's nothing. An i9 9900K is nothing to stick your nose up at. I got one in my gaming PC. It's fine. Yeah. It's a good sort of all-rounder CPU, 8 cores, 16 threads, video editing, or whatever. Feeling that cooling down now. It's still pretty hot. Also having that glass panel on it with that in combination with the fan, that'll create channeled airflow as well.
Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, probably. Alright, well. So we're up to 53 degrees now on our graphics card. Do you have window cleaner somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Because we need to give that glass a bit of a clean.
They're such long screws.
I know.
Do you want to hold that then?
Oh. Yeah. It's not going to do what I want it to do. Huh? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, now I've worked out what I'm going to do. I've got an RGB fan we can put in there. We're going to put the front panel back on it as well. I'm going to unplug that one. So that's not going to be, it's not the one we're using. So once you guys get it back, it should be trouble-free gaming for you guys, and happy days for a while. No, I don't think we'd need that. No. haven't opened them. Do you want to hold it and
Just try and... Have I got it around that way?
I think so. I think it's symmetrical. Yeah. You can let go now.
Just trying it.
Okay, what are we going to do with these cables? Yeah.
Just trying to get that back.
No. Mm-hmm. I'll have to take that back panel off again. Yeah.
You can turn up the speed of that fan to it's right.
I think it's on max. think we've got a 5-volt header on this board. Mm-hmm.
Can you put that controller like, you know, down under this bit here so it's easy accessible?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. That's fine. Changed.
Oh.
That's alright.
Changed mode. Sweet. Reach that remote. Oh, yeah. That's... Get the temp gun on it. It's on the table.
It's even cooler.
So Cinebench isn't running. But I would think it'll get warm, like hot, but not like meltdown hot. So just wait and come back and check it in like 5 minutes or something, 2 minutes. Just hold your hand on it if you want. But that fan will at least it'll at least get some air moving through there. I think that's all it's gonna need. I mean, MOSFETs and VRMs usually don't overheat massively unless it's in a case like this where there's like no airflow. Unfortunately, you can do all the water cooling you want, but the motherboard's still going to be required to be passively cooled with moving air. So, yeah, this looks really crooked, but it's not. It's the frickin' thing on the motherboard.
So it says, please don't burn your hand.
No. That's feeling pretty good. How's it looking?
It's staying under 60 degrees.
Sweet.
Like it's sitting like between like 40 and 59 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. Those two fans have made all the difference there. That's made a big difference.
If you want, you can take this other grommet off here and have more air flow through. So I can feel the air like being sucked into that little hole.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know if you can get that off though.
Yeah, you can take them off. But yeah.
I don't think you really need to.
No, I don't think so. I
It's
think
fine now.
I think this is looking lots better.
Yeah, if you want to change the colour mode of the back fan, there's a little grey controller underneath the radiator.
Sweet. Awesome.
This is tried the MSI out and it pretty good.
Ah, yes. Yeah, it's a very handy app.
Tony says all the cables going to be hidden.
Yeah, all the cables are hidden. It's already done. You wanna zoom her in? There's no cable. You can't see any cables other than the cables plugged in the back of it.
You're just gonna cut off that white sticky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll do that. That's all just finishing touches. So yeah, you could replace the fans on the radiator and put some high flow fans on it. You'd probably get some slightly lower temperatures. But yeah, it's not going to be a problem, man. This is running nice and cool. You might think CPU 85 degrees, that sounds pretty hot, but it's not.
This is how you're changing out these two fans on the
It's up to you, man.
Have you got some like right now?
No, I don't.
You can order it.
Yeah, I can get some. I can get some for it. Yeah. Yeah, and so there's meant to be like lighting on the reservoir, but it doesn't work. I've tested it. I chucked it on different RGB controllers and stuff, and it doesn't actually work. So
Powered it from the computer to
yeah, I'd like independently powered it and stuff. It doesn't work. As for on the side of the radiator, it looks like it should have RGB, but it's really weird. It's got a COM port adapter header on it, and I'm not aware of any Thermaltake app for it. I can't even find anything about it if I search for this.
It's a long one tonight.
Yeah, well, we're not really doing much. I'm just sort of sitting around.
Is it getting hot?
Yeah, it's getting a bit warm. But I don't think it's as hot as it used to be.
Like 70 something. 72, 77, 88, 83, 84, 86.
But this should only be a problem when you're doing video editing. Because if we turn off Cinebench, it'll cool down. So I'm still calling this a win.
Open hardware monitor and check.
Doesn't have fucking sensors for the MOSFET VRM. Almost like it was intentionally left off. Yep, I'm just reading. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good as is. So like I'll probably end up giving it back to you, and yeah, you can run it for a while, and if there's any issues, you can bring it back and we'll have another look at it. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, what we're seeing now is roughly what we're going to be seeing while we're gaming. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, well, you guys should be right to pick this up tomorrow if you want. I'll let you take it home. You can use it over the weekend, and just keep a close eye on everything, and just let me know how it goes, basically. But I'm thinking that's the problem. But yeah, 50 degrees on the graphics card, that's going to be perfect. Nothing's going to expand too much with temperatures like this. Because, yeah, I mean, it's a great rig. It does really well. Yeah, we're giving it a bit of a clean up for you. Clean the glass, clean the surfaces and stuff like that. Some of the coolant fluids like stained the white paint in places. So I couldn't get that off. But yeah, it's definitely looks a lot cleaner. We'll get it and it will look more like a new PC, I guess. worries, man. All I want to hear is like that you're actually gaming on it, you're actually having some fun with it, because you spent the money and you deserve to get the use out of it. And if it was something as simple as what the problem was here, then that's good. At least you're going to get some use out of it.
It's just you sliding out over it.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You barely even notice it though.
that's what I did. I used a paint pen on those what do you call them? The
Black connections.
Yeah, the black nuts around the pipes. How it was all the paint was chipped off and stuff, so they all look nice and shiny and new now. So I just had like an overall service upgrade. Just a bit of a test, make sure everything's running fine, not overheating and stuff, and just checking those random things like MOSFET VRM. No one really thinks about them a lot of the time, but if you're running i9 and all that, those parts get pretty hot as well. So just a shame we don't have like something to bolt that Wi-Fi card in a little bit better, but it doesn't really matter because it's in there and it's gonna work. And once it's in there and it's doing its
Well,
thing,
you're not putting your hand in there.
You're
like,
not-
fiddling with
yeah,
it.
you're not gonna be-
like chucking the computer around.
yeah, you're not gonna be
So-
touching it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly not as hot as what it was when you had Cinebench open. It was like 43.
Yeah, it's no. There's not going to be any problem with it while you're gaming.
No.
It's just when you're doing, yeah.
Like, it'll be fine for video editing, just not like long periods of time.
No, that's okay. You can
No?
do long periods of time.
50 degrees. That's enough
Because remember, you won't be gaming
though.
when
While
you're
doing
just
that.
using Cinebench.
Ooh.
What?
Oh, I just noticed that there's a chip
Yeah.
in one of the nuts. I
Yeah.
thought that was like liquid. I was like, huh.
No. Yeah, there's some of the nuts are damaged. It's like that on another one as well.
Oh, really?
So
Oh.
it's not damaged, like it's not going to seal or anything like that. It's fine, but yeah, it's just definitely not new. Definitely not new. Well, yeah, I'm probably going to leave it there for the live stream tonight. But I'm gonna be running this. I'm gonna be leaving this computer running for the next few hours as well, just to see how these temperatures play out. But looking like now that we've taken the load off the CPU, the graphics card's dropped below 50 degrees. So that radiator, yep, starting to cool down again, but still a fair bit of heat in the radiator. Like I said, you know, we could put some high flow fans on here and dissipate that heat, but I think we'd be getting very pedantic about that, because at the end of the day, none of these values are too high. Yeah. Alright everyone, well, thanks for watching as always. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.